let's go ahead and get started, and anyone else joining in can just go ahead and hopefully pick up at where we are as we're going. So welcome everyone. Thank you so much for joining. In case you're just joining in and you might have missed. And also, yes, we will have some of our team members ready to answer questions. So my name's Gabby. I'm from Buncee. I'm just going to be kind of introducing educator Jim Hambel. You may know him as Jim in the Gym on Twitter. And he's a physical education teacher, and he's very knowledgeable about Buncee. He loves Buncee. So he's going to show you some Buncee examples today, and we're going to talk about using Buncee and using Buncee for social emotional learning. So Jim, if you want to go ahead and take it away, if you want to maybe introduce yourself a little bit, and I guess go over what we're going to cover and take it away. And as we're going along, definitely my colleague Ida will be in the chat and will be able to answer any questions, and I will be taking note of some questions that Jim can answer towards the end. So without any further ado, Jim, take it away.
Thank you so much for that. Yes, my name is Jim Hambel. I'm a physical education teacher from the Bronx, New York, born and raised my entire life. I'm very excited and honored to be here today, giving this talk and along with and sponsored by and collaboration with Buncee. That this is, I think, the third one. I just honestly love Buncee so much that, and in other webinars, and if you might have seen other postings or I've been talking about it, it really just works for me. Remote learning, and I really can't wait to also see how it works in the future. Like I said, I'm K-5 in the Bronx, but I'm also certified in elementary and special education, so I see usages for it for like everything. So just a little bit, it's not going to be like a prototypical webinar where I give you the agenda and I kind of just go over it. I'm actually going to be showing you Buncees that I've made that work, that are fully functioning, that I've actually used, and that you can use. Literally, most of us are off for the summer, but if you were to have students like right now, you could use it right away. That's what the beauty of Buncee is, and that's what's great about. And I'll go over that. So if you're new to Buncee, if you have some experience, like I said, this will kind of be there for everyone. I will stop at some times. If we talk about for questions, please feel free to ask questions. I don't want to just ramble on for 45 minutes. Like I said, this is really for you. And I really appreciate the opportunity, whether you're with us now live or if you're watching this in the future on replay. Just thank you to Buncee and thank you everyone for joining me on a Monday afternoon. So I'm going to take a second. I'm going to share my screen and I'm going to show you what it's all about. All right. So can everyone see my screen where it says Buncee dashboard? Is it showing? All right. Awesome. Good. Very important. I got to make sure that my tech. So if you're not familiar with Buncee, when you sign up, this is your dashboard. This is where all the magic happens. I like to say. We have your ideas lab, you create, which I will go later on if we have some time, but this is really all about social emotional learning. So I've even used Buncee for literacy, for webinars that I've done global and worldwide. So that's a little bit about me. I'm repping Yankee Stadium, so if you're a Yankee fan. Also a little bit about me, I'm in the Bowling Hall of Fame. And for the National Phys Ed Organization, I'm the Physical Activity Council Chair. So a lot of the stuff a lot of resources and things I make for Buncee are also phys ed related, and I'm also open to sharing with others. So let's get this party started. So when you think of the term social emotional learning, think about it for a second. Like, what does that mean? Like, what is the social emotional learning? Yes, it involves social. Yes, it involves emotional. Yes, it involves learning. But it has a lot of different definitions. So I wanted to kind of clarify and just kind of make it like a standard so that when we are going along, so you can understand. Like I said, that's not the be all and end all, but just a kind of working definition, because like I said, I'm a phys ed teacher, so it might look a little different and it might operate a little differently, but I really feel like it's can operate and still be the same anywhere. So this is, if you haven't seen a Buncee before, this is what it looks like. First takeaway is probably like, wow, that's awesome. This actually I took, when I was creating this, I actually made this from the template. Actually, I used one of the background designs. Buncee's really great about that. We were just talking about this before, if you didn't hear it, that with my exercise background, I said, you know, it would be great if we had some like movement GIFs. And what did Buncee do? Buncee added that. So just shows. So what's great about Buncee is you could see this is the name of it. You could people could leave comments. You could like it. So it's it's meant to be not only just, we were just talking about student friendly, where they want to see it like, oh my goodness, like it's rich, it's vibrant. It's not just the prototypical Google slide where you say, oh wow. It operates in the same way, but it's a lot more versatile. And like I said, it's a lot more when I've used it with students. And the reason why I came to Buncee is because I was looking for something that would operate not just on one platform like Mac, Google, Chromebook, and it's something that would work on Google Classroom, any kind of setting, any kind of management software. That's why Buncee was great, because when you hit share, it's great there. So just a little bit behind the Buncee. So if you're wondering, like, how does it work? So that's what's great. So what is the social emotional learning? You know what? I'm not going to read it. I'm going to click my Immersive Reader, which is one of my favorite things. So we're going to find any text on this page. Okay. Usually it does that.
I will say, you bring up a great point. So Immersive Reader works any text that you put in your Buncee.
Yes.
So if you put in your text in the text box, it will read all of the text that's in your Buncee. So Immersive Reader is a great tool. Anytime you have, again, text in your text box, it's a great tool for utilizing that. So if you wanted to go ahead and explore that, it's great. Again, just kind of have any text that you have in your Buncee. If you have an image, it's an image. But if you if you were just to copy and paste that text, put in text box,
yeah,
Immersive Reader is amazing for that.
And that's what I must have done. Yes. Buncee is also good because like I took a picture of this actually from a website and I used it and I uploaded it. So that's how I had it. So basically SEL is it's called for shorthand, is the process through which children and adults understand and manage emotions. They set and achieve positive goals, feel and show empathy for others, establish and maintain positive relationships, and make responsible decisions. What in the world does that mean? Now, the teacher in me wants to kind of have everyone do a turn and talk, have to think about it. But basically to me, it's just like, teaching to adults and children understand and manage emotions. So it's not just children learning to work with other children. It's the children to show that aspect, but it's also children working with adults. It's understanding managing emotions, what to do with those emotions. A lot of lessons I've done and you'll see are kind of geared towards, okay, this is how we feel. What's a good exercise that kind of can help accentuate that, or kind of like if you're not in a good mood, what can help with that? It's all about positive relationships. Social emotional learning is really kind of just like, for me, is like teaching and helping students and everyone just kind of flourish and teaching them how to work together and all possible parts about that. So in this Buncee, what's great about it, you could use it as a video. So if I wanted to assign this, say this, now this is the Immersive Reader. What does self-care mean to you?
What does self-care mean to you?
What the great thing about the Immersive Reader, as Gabby was just saying, is that you could also translate it. For me, I've got language learners, or even just any language, so you could translate literally into any. If you want to do German, you could do it. That's one of the great things about the Immersive Reader. The great thing about Buncee is that I found this, I didn't make this one, I actually found this in one of the slides from, actually one of the templates from Buncee, and I thought it was great. I tweaked it a little bit, but when you're leaving it, you can make it interactive. So if you wanted to kind of, app expansion kind of set up, or students are actually, when you do it, there's actually a function on Buncee where they could actually record a video. And you can make it interactive. You could assign it like this if you wanted to for a student, or if I wanted to assign it right now, this was like a lecture, I could have everyone respond to it by answering and adding text to their own video. A lot of different, Buncee is very, what's the good word to say? Very, very expressive like that. So that they could you can upload. So when you're doing your own Buncee, you could add a picture, a video. And I kind of set this up as that, it's like a good lesson. Like, what is self-care? I found some other ones from guidance counselors at my school. Feeling angry, a checklist. You could literally have students interact with it and drag something and put something. So this is, what is a checklist? Or trying to build emotional resilience in kids. So a lot of it, so a lot of when I was doing this towards the end of the school year, which we actually just finished recently, but was I noticed a lot of students were kind of getting tired, they were getting kind of sad. I needed to think like what's from that physical activity point of view, how can we learn about social emotional learning, but also kind of incorporate activity into it. So this way so students could also understand that as well, and to use the not just an emotional thing, but also use that as well. So these are some of the things that I found. It's great about Buncee, as we were talking about before, Gab and I, that you take you have a picture you found, you have a really great, I took these from guidance counselors in my school that they actually put on their Google Classroom. They were so great. I got this one from the tutor doctor, but these are definitely things you could do. These are great for iMessages, counting to 20. These are all different techniques that you can put in your Buncee, or this is a good ways to talk about social emotional learning for feeling angry. Because students may understand it. I've noticed that, and you probably might too, but students will understand, they may acknowledge it, but sometimes it might be hard for them to actually know what to actually do with it. So that's what a lot of this is going that physical activity, physical education route about, like knowing about it and then having to deal with it. And how do you build emotional resilience? These have been really tough times, myself included. A lot of times I've had to think to myself, how can I do? What can I do best to make sure that I'm there for my students as well? So even touching upon things like acknowledging your own mistakes. There have been times where there have been technology errors, and I've been having 14, third, fourth, and fifth graders sitting there, and they're doing it patiently because they just say, you know what, I need a minute. So I'm always biggest thing. One of my favorite things, and a lot of things about social emotional, not just outside of Buncee, is if you think back to like one of like the first movies I think of, To Serve With Love, and the message is about respect. A lot of this in a social emotional learning, I think really feel like respect is a two-way street. Respect, I really feel like, is the backboard or backbone of anything that you do. So you could add some things like this. And then when you do, if you made a lesson, okay, cool, down as they're going through the lesson, you get a reflection after the lesson. How do you feel about self-care? And now you could kind of use it as a exit ticket. So that way you can do it. Oh, we have any questions? I see a lot of chats in the box.
Yeah, so yes, we did. So we had a couple questions.
Sure.
One in particular, does Buncee have a selection of background themes that teachers can pull from, or do we create all of them? So Jim, if you wanted to go ahead and talk a little bit about that, maybe about the either backgrounds or templates that teachers can choose from.
So, I mean, I could talk about it, and later on I could even show it, but like, so like these, I actually use two techniques where Buncee, so this one what's great about Buncee and the way it works is that when I edit this, you can see, so I took the background, I actually used one of the backgrounds, I picked something fun, the one with the submarine, that was actually supplied by Buncee. So once I had my background, I was able to add like this picture, add other elements on top of it. This one I actually took from another template. There's a great Buncee set up in a way that so you can go to other pre-made templates and you can actually pick and choose which ones you want. And there's actually a thing called stitching, which actually I just discovered, which I think is the coolest thing. You actually take Buncees that are already made and you could like add Buncee slides within Buncee. So this one that says practice self-care was actually from a different one. But I love the slide so much, I was able to take it and put it into this slide. So I kind of mixed and mashed. So that's how and I definitely would love to share these because like I said, I kind of made them. What the great thing about it is that, like I was saying, it's clipping the Buncee. Come over here, like I was saying before. It says over here, you could clip the pages. So it gets kind of copied and pasted so that when you make your own and you want to add to a slide, you could add it into yours. And the great thing about sharing, and if I'm just got off a little track a little bit, if you make it copyable, if I were to send the link to everyone right now, you would be able to, if you had a Buncee account, you would be able to use it. Or even if you would have to we just set up account, you could click edit, and it would take you to the edit screen. So that's what's great about Buncee is that you don't have to download it. If you have an account, you could get a Buncee, you can kind of, and even later on, I'll definitely share these resources, but you could take them and you could literally, like I said, you could make it and be using it on your own in like 5 seconds. I hope that answers that question. So I hope we have a good understanding of like what I'm talking about, social emotional learning. I know it's kind of has a lot of different technical definitions, but pretty much it's about respect, understanding yourself, understanding others. So like I said, there's really a lot where you can go with it. And I think it's the kind of topic that it's very important that there are a lot of aspects of it, and there's a lot of resources, but I mean, honestly, at the end of the day, if it's just mostly about respect. So that's why this is such a great topic for me, because I see in my school like 550 students, and like how it's always about like how can you as a teacher or even just as a webinar presenter, how can I go into any different setting and kind of how can I get the message that across that I want to, but how can I do it in a way that there are going to be times where we had just that questions like how am I going to do respectfully, how am I going to get people to buy in, and how am I going to get students to buy in and know that I actually want them to learn. And also the other element where we want students to interact with each other. So it's important to students to have those tools to be able to interact with each other. So that's what I mean. So I want to show you some more fun Buncees that I made, right? This is a good one I made, I actually just made recently. And when I did it as an assignment, I could tell it was pretty well received because there's 63 views. I call this exercise for everyone. And this one, it actually, well, the text readable work. And you might be wondering why some are different colors. Because when you go to your reading preferences, grammar options, you can, for language, for all our ELA teachers, or just any teachers in general, you can also turn it on so it'll show different parts of speech. So this one I made for exercise for everyone. Actually, I just used this one a couple weeks ago. It was really well received. Not many of my students, believe it or not, knew about Jackie Robinson, and that's fine. So we were kind of making, because we talk about exercise, and a lot of things I do is we talk about exercise, why it's important for pretty much everyone to do it, why making choices, when it's too hard, when it's too easy, so they kind of understand it, and also how that also applies to other aspects of life. Because if you think about it, does it? So we were having a frank conversation about like baseball. Most of my students know baseball right now near Yankee Stadium. And a lot of it was just talking about why is exercise important? Why, Jackie was, he wanted to play baseball. And, very oversimplifying it, but, elementary. And what this kind of spawned this idea, so that sometimes sports are not always equal. People still know they can't play. So this was a great lesson that I set out. So then we talked about the social emotional aspect of sports and exercise being for everyone. What's it like when you see someone being untreated fairly? And of course, you can go into more detail. For younger students, it was just more like, why is it not fair? Like, why is exercise important? Why should everyone have a chance to do it? What are some exercises you like to do? If the older one, it's like, for the older students, it kind of led to itself where say, why is it not fair that they said you can't play? And we're not talking about like safety reasons. So there was a lot of setting it up like this. And what's great about Buncee is that you could put, the great thing I love about Buncee is that when you put a video in YouTube, it will play right away. And I'll show you a little bit later on how some of them, but like there's no clicking and going back from tab to tab. It's all in one place. So what I did from this one is that after we talked about it, then if you notice, they have the choose their activity level, the differentiation, so students have student choice. I'm all about student choice. So this is based on one of my first Buncees ever. So I took something from openphysed.org, which is a great website, and I used my Bitmoji. I kind of fashioned it over a retro video game. You could even put music in there. So this was great because we're talking about sports and choice. And what's great about these is that these are sports that students sometimes know. So they know tennis, especially a lot of the students know basketball. So I was able to do this at home, mind you, that students could practice using different things. How are they going to play baseball in the house? We play something called Shadow. So we were able to do a social, emotional component to it. But then also we were able to talk about and have baseball so that when they click the link, a video plays. And what's cool about that I also have my YouTube channel, I was able to make videos and actually put them on there. Like I said, they can pick and choose what they want. And one of the assessment pieces that you could do, or that I did, was that I could say how many games you could play. Why did you choose that? I gave them this criteria. Why did you do that? So they're also getting a physical component of it. And then later on, if we wanted to, we didn't really get a chance to do it though, but you could talk about more role models like Jackie Robinson and other big names in sport and how they do it. This is one of the, and what's great about Buncee is that it works with other apps very, very well. If you go to if you're familiar with Flipgrid, Or if you're not, it's a great thing where it lets some students who are, they did the game, if they want to make, since a lot of them wanted to share with others, if they want to share with themselves, playing different games and whatnot, they can. So it works very harmoniously with other apps like that. So this kind of was a very good introduction. I would have loved to continue, but like I said, school was over. I look forward to continuing things like this because with Buncee, it allows me to, tackle different like social emotional or equality kind of aspect of it. And then we could talk about the emotional, the equality, the fairness aspect of it in sport and exercise. So students kind of really get like academic content and they get a lot of mix of everything. So that's one I like to meet. So I got two more, but I want to, take a little break because I don't want to overwhelm people. So 40 messages.
Yeah, so I do see if you want to take a break and ask questions or answer questions, there was, we did have one, it's just, are there a question just asking about does Buncee use animations that teachers can pull in? So I wondered if you could just maybe demonstrate really quickly some of the different animations that we do offer that you can add in.
Sure.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and that's why I want to take it because, like I said, I want to show you. I would be remiss if I were to say, "Wow, this is great," and then not get to it or not show. So, like, these are the animations. Okay, so right over here. So, what's great about Buncee is that over here on this right side, this is all the elements. So, right here, this is the text. So, if I wanted to get rid of one thing, it's all there. Okay, so say I want to. So, what's great about Buncee and all the options. So, if I wanted to upload pretty much anything, if I wanted to add out of GIF from a website, I could go to uploads. If I wanted to import from a video from like YouTube, it's there. If I wanted to record a video or take a photo, like I was saying before, you could do that. Let's take a look at the Buncee animations. So Buncee has actually been having a summer series where the more you use Buncee, you get to unlock different ones. And what's cool about these is you could actually preview before it. So these are some of the summer series. But if you go to recently added, these are some of the, we were talking about, okay, so how about doing some windmills? So these are some of the Buncee animations. You could just pop in. So like I said, I went to Buncee animation, it's right there. You want to click over here, let me just move my screen because I got so many things going on. These are all the different categories you can do. Buncee Man, the Buncee Man is really cute, different education ones. Buncee, if you're familiar with Bitmoji classrooms and Bitmoji, I found that Buncee does really work well with that. Where if you, like I said, the URL codes, perfect. So I want to use this little guy. I'm going to close my chat box for a quick second. Click this little person. And it should have uploaded. No, it didn't. Oh, I know it didn't. You got to press up. So these are some of the ones that you want to have. So these are these are all the ones that like I was saying, we were talking before that these are some brand new ones that Buncee, we were talking about it, just added. So if you want to see them do some mountain climbers, and it's there. So these are the animated motions. So I believe that answers the question. So also a couple things also, if I may. Okay, so say you want to talk about, you want to kind of delve more into the science aspect of it. There's the Buncee 3D. Okay, you want to talk more about lungs, or if you want to talk more about muscles. And you want to talk about, oh, when you frown, it takes this many muscles, and what are the muscles? So what's cool about it is that this is a full 3D aspect. Of course, I would not show this, but just for the sake of seeing what it looks like when you put, so this was, you've got your moving character over here, and you've also got a full 3D, so that if you want to test it out, what's also great about it, you could test it out so you don't have to just send it out and blindly hope it works. You click your preview button, and it gives you an opportunity to kind of test it out right there. So now I've got, okay, cool. Wow, what muscles are they doing? Where are the muscles what parts of the body are working the hardest when they do mountain climbers? How does it make you feel? Where is your brain located? So there's also that physical science aspect of that as well. That's one of my favorite things about Buncee. And like I said, that even though I'm the phys ed, it's like I said, there's so much. Like there's you can easily upload the flip, like I said, and Flipgrid is compatible You could add web images. There's real, and this is great about the web images that they're vetted. So you don't have to scan, you don't have to go to Google. So it's right there. It's also student friendly. You have your 360 image, your Khan Academy. Like I said, this is why I like, and this is whenever I explain why Buncee is great and why I used it many times, many times over like Google Slides, because it's very user friendly. It's very easy for teachers to pick up. It's also good because there's also a lot of aspects where if you assign it, you could even have students make their own. That's also an option where, and like I said, all they have to do is click upload and everything's there. And like I said, it works with lots of different technology. So you can feel confident. Thank you. You can feel very confident when you send it out that there's not going to be any compatibility errors. All right. So that's one of my favorites. So another one, so I actually use some Epic Books. I use some Screencastify, if you're familiar with that. I found a book on fairness in sports, and I was having some trouble getting it to show. Epic Books wasn't quite allowing me to do it, so I made my own little video and I made the book. So we talked about fairness in sports and why is fairness important. And this is what I was talking about when you want to upload your own video. It's right there. And you could also see the 59 views, comments. And like I said, this is all embedded in the slide. There's no going back and forth with tabs. So I also wanted students to think about fairness, like what is fair, and all examples about like, because most students know that like when they play a game, it's us versus them, but sometimes it's hard for them to kind of come back and be like, wait, we're all still part of the same class, or we're all still part of the same team. And at other times we might be working with different people. So just things like that, and just because that's super important. So things like this, so talking about, even if for me, I signed some books from this, like this, we're just looking at things like this, where it also the ELA literacy component, but it also gives them an opportunity to think about. So like this one story, talking stories about what would students do in different situations, where like Andy Roddick had some calls go for him, and then he had to make a decision, what would he do? And if I wanted to add more onto it, or you could even take this, I want to send it to you, you could add, I'll show you, to say you get this, you edit it, you make a copy, and you want to add more slides to it because, can I show stitching? I really want to show stitching. I love stitching. So you can add a blank new page, or like I was saying before, so if you copy and pasted and you wanted to, so these are actually Buncee slides that I've actually made before. So that way, when you want to, like before when I was making the self-care one, if I wanted to add that in there, I could. There's like if I wanted to add the template from Sports Shadow, I could do that. And I could add it into, it gets a little messy, but for the most part it goes. So then I could actually take from a different Buncee slide and I can make a whole new one. I just discovered stitching. I really think it's fun. And it's really good because the Buncee allows you to do so many different topics, so many different things, and really kind of like I was showing, there's one aspect where I made a lesson on exercise for everyone, Jackie Robinson, and doing different exercises, or even just showing off like a webinar on literacy, or even just showing off what exactly, and just having more of an academic where students can make videos and respond to different things. So that's one of the more aspects. So like I said, these are some of the things I've found to work with. There's lots of different ones. Sandra Newman, social emotional learning, teaching justice and equality are also different things which you can easily, boom, pop into a Buncee, make a whole lesson out of it and pop it in, and you've got a lesson and content right there.
Yeah. And I mean, just to kind of interject, yeah, definitely there are just a lot of different things. I mean, we like to say the possibilities are endless here at Buncee. You have a lot of, SEL is such a broad, topic in general. It covers so many different aspects. I mean, social emotional learning, of course, it's, there are just so many different things to cover and different things that you can do. And certainly there are ways that you can explore that and teach that with Buncee. Jim, if you don't mind, I wouldn't mind talking a little bit about Ideas Lab and maybe sharing about that really briefly, if you don't mind.
That's exactly, I was just going to say, let me talk about
Yeah.
ideas lab. So how you get, so when this is your Buncee dashboard. And also so you understand, so if you're not familiar with it, you could go to your classes tab, make classes and assign it. You could also, they have boards, which are kind of like interactive, like community things, but you click on the Ideas Lab and boom, it takes you there. And the great thing about Buncee is that it's not just them coming up with content. I've added some slides and added some Buncees. It's a very community. And like you said, the possibilities are endless because what's great about it is that it's Buncee and you all make it so appealing for educators to want to contribute and collaborate. So these are some of the ideas from the Ideas Lab that you could create this, keep a weather journal, your own underwater scene. These are all different, create your own joke book. And the thing about these are already pre-made. You click create this. What would you like to do? You would like to edit, and it's already there. All you need is an account. Oh, and the whole thing is there. And you don't have to do anything. If you want to look more about filter by topic, these are all the different ones, all different interdisciplinary, all different ones, professional development. What's also great about Buncee is that I've actually used it for making cards. You can actually use cards. And if you check out Buncee on Twitter, they also are always talking Father's Day cards, Mother's Day cards, all kinds of different. So Buncee's great about is that they truly want to get the pulse of what what teachers and what people want. So they're always working towards that. So I gotta say that. So, okay, you come over here. Okay, maybe I want to do something, social media. Oh, I don't know. School media communications, posters on physical education. Let's go for it. These are some of the ones that, one thing about that I always liked about Buncee is that phys ed sometimes is very underrepresented. So when I came to them and said, oh, you've got some good things, I'd love to help out. The rest is history because they really valued what I said. So this one I got learn about body facts and a fun moving activity. So yeah, and Gabby, I think what you said is right, is that social emotional, it's hard for me to sit here and say there's just so many different aspects of it. But I think for me, coming from a physical activity kind of background knowledge, is that you really have to incorporate the body, because a lot of students, especially elementary, sometimes they will sometimes know something's not right. They're mad, they're upset. And a checklist may just not be enough. So they also need to have coping skills so that they can work. So if they are upset or if they need a break, like called brain breaks, so I like to say body movements, where if they could, so they understand it, so they can be aware of it. Because I always make the thing is, a lot of students, even as early as kindergarten, will know how to, they know a book is too hard, they know what to do, what is wrong, what is too hard, and what to do about it. Honestly, I have students, and even in kindergarten, be like, okay, cool, we're doing a bowling activity, for example. They'll know why it's hard. They know what to do. They know, okay, maybe I got to move back. What am I going to do? So you can do it. So things like that, where you teach these coping skills and you do breakdown sequentially. What's also great about Buncee is that Buncee really allows for it, because it's side by side, and it's fun, and the students actually want to do it. I've had many students, you've seen actual ones where those were maybe about a couple of weeks old, but they had like 60 views. That's actually really good. So in your Ideas Lab, what to do if you know what to expect if you get sick with a social story. These are all the things. Oh, look at this one. Oh, that was me. I'm sorry, I had to shamelessly say that, but these are actually two. I mean, oh my God. No, so like, what's great, yeah, like I said, what's great about it is that these are all fully enhanced. And what's great about them is that they are, if you're like, oh, you know what, I love fifth grade, or if I love something else, Buncee is very good, because Buncee is what's great about, like you said, the possibility endless. It does work. It's so versatile. It does work well with other. And I'm saying I'm not advocating to go to other one, but I'm just saying that if you know another one that like you love, Buncee will work with it. So Buncee literally can do anything. So that's what I'm saying. So if you go over here, there's different like posters, signage, math. Is there anything else? Phys ed and math. Ooh, I haven't had a big one in the longest time, but yeah, this whole over here, you can filter that. I love the Ideas Lab. And like I said, a lot of these are made by teachers. And you quickly create this and it's there right away. I want to show you one more about that I made. So I love this. Buncee made this one actually was made by Buncee for home learning. And this one I kind of just made, actually I made over the weekend. So four views, actually pretty good. And that's just good because I know for those of you who have to justify with data and have to say, well, how many visits I'm getting, you can actually actively see it here. So I took some of the Buncees that I made. And so when I say Buncee, I mean Buncee slides, I should specify. But I took some of the Buncee slides that I made back in previous lessons. And you know what? It's the end of the summer. I want to just make it. I want to leave these for my students to play. It also works with the needing help function is also very good if you have questions or anything about that. But like I said, it's very user friendly. Everything is out in the open. There's nothing like you have to click and go 20 different little tabs. If you want to know the zoom button, it's right there. Everything's laid out very easy. So again, a lesson like this. So this is my Bitmoji guy. I have my Bitmoji in my Chrome. So all you have to do is just get, these are all mine. You just click copy image address, and that's how you get it. If you want to make your own Bitmoji, if you're interested in that. Okay, so so I had to, a lot of the times for me, I would make lessons, and a lot of the students would just want to repeat them. And sometimes they wouldn't want to have to go through the whole rigor of the lesson. They just wanted to look at the videos. And they just wanted to do it. So Buncee was, one of the biggest things I did well with Buncee was that I would take the videos I would have in a lesson and I would put them on a Buncee page. So like this was mindfulness activities. And you click the video. So they watch it. Oh, I remember that mindfulness activity. And they can go, the videos I made through my YouTube channel. Welcome back to Hambel at Home Physical Education. Today, I'm going to show you how to play the game Hole. So you can see everything is there. So that's one. These are really more. We couldn't do field day, so I brought field day to them. When I said this was another Buncee, so I took in my dashboard. I was able to do Bunceeception. I love that movie, but I was able to take different ones, and it's just so insanely easy where I could add them to my. So this is one activity. So these were all based on mindfulness because we talked about mindfulness and like I said, I'm the type of physical educator where I want my students mindlessly doing. I want them to think about how do they feel, what they enjoy, even just things like that. Like, what do you enjoy? Why does it make you happy? What makes you happy? Because for me, I'm trying to give them a smorgasbord. I'm trying to give them a variety, especially remote learning is not so easy, but giving them an opportunity to try something that they like, and so that they would want to come back and do it again. And like I was saying, they have all these things. So maybe they like this pillow jumping game. I'll show you. That's my YouTube channel. If you want to try this game at home, if you want to, it's fun. A lot of these games. So everything was set there, and all these also had a social emotional component to it too. This I actually stole from I didn't steal, I borrowed. Imitation Assistant Zero's former flighter, I believe. It's about, this actually is a great video.
Hi everyone, this is Ms. Rodriguez. I'm the school counselor, and today we're going to be.
So this was actually part of my lesson where we talked about it, and they could use add prompts. Oh, I want to edit it. Okay, you know what? My students, I want to add some academic. I want to add some assessment pieces. Boom. That's these questions over here. Multiple choice, free response questions. It's all there. To do the stitch, like I was saying, if I wanted to add from another, I would just simply go to this part of the left side with all the pages. They call them slides, they call them pages. And you would add it, stitching. Or if you wanted to add for blank, you got this one over here. And this is what it looks like. All right. So these are some of the cool things. This is a great video about the ABCs, about what it looks like. And it uses, like I said, there's so many, like I said, this doesn't just have to be. So hopefully you're getting a better idea of what a physics teacher does for social emotional learning, and also kind of a better way to teach it, and how using Buncee to help you reach that goal. So, and I'd be more than happy to share with you because, like I said, I'm in New York City and Bronx, so a lot of these work for indoors. You can modify them. I'm all for differentiation and modifications. So Like in the slide over here, here's a video about coordination. This was great because we had the videos and I gave them a chance to flip grade to answer about like your teacher's board, what activity would you recommend? So a lot of student choice, student voice. That's what's also great about, you have a lot of opportunity for students to have their own voice, whether making videos and when you assign it. I could talk about that in a few minutes, but one of these, another lesson I enjoyed was we were talking about the zones of regulation and that kind of how it lends itself towards coordination of hand and eye, what zone you are in, and kind of talking about Tabata. And oh, it's in edit mode, so that's why it doesn't, so the video doesn't, it's in the edit mode, so that's why you see preview, and that's why the video isn't quite working. But if you were to click preview and go back to the view mode, you would see it. And so like I said, these are some lessons I'd be more than happy to share that you could use for them. Like I said, they're vetted. These are from accredited web sources. I could also share that as well because these are difficult times and you don't need to necessarily reinvent the wheel, but with Buncee, you can just change how the wheel looks. I like that tagline. So let me just show you kind of more like, so you click preview. Takes a second, but also, you know, like I said, and now you could autoplay it. And you can see over here. So there's videos from Go Noodle. This is, I actually linked to a Google slide. Oh, wait. And they could do it, you could do an activity, we could even do it all together if we had a lot more time and they could run through it. So I just clicked, made a Google slide attached to a Buncee. And if I had more time, I would have definitely, I could have made a Buncee out of that as well. But all these different resources. So zones of regulation are good to go because he talks about what zone are you in, whether you have higher energy, low energy. He also manipulates the mood meter, where if you have lots of energy and your mood is good, or like you have low energy and your mood is not good, it kind of goes. That's also a good way of describing it. This is from that Disney movie Inside Out, if you've ever seen it. It's actually a good movie. It describes emotions and how the brain processes them. So it's pretty. If you like science like me, that's a good view. Especially it's also, I think it's on Disney Plus, but anyway, that's a good thing that also helps children describe. Like I said, a lot of mindfulness and yoga is really good because it just helps focus and center the brain. Go Noodles are good about like Cosmic Kids is another one. If you're trying to think off the top, or even good for adults too. It's good because even though I'm not a yoga, another part. So I need a break. So how are we doing on questions so far?
Yeah, so I think there were a couple questions, but I think actually, if you wouldn't mind, Jim, I'd like to share my screen and just kind of build on some of the things that you had mentioned yeah, before. So yeah, I do think I really like how kind of tying in social emotional to kind of the physical education, because that is definitely a large component of that. So I really do love that, and I really do love the so many different examples of how you can share different materials in Buncee. I mean, there are just so many examples of how you can not only you can record your own video, of course, you can embed YouTube videos or videos that you have on your device. I see here that you added audio to the Inside Out image and also adding links and resources. So it works as this great hyperdoc that you can use to create that you can use to kind of gather a lot of resources for social emotional learning. So I wanted to go ahead and share my screen and just talk a little bit about just some of the other things that you can find in Ideas Lab. So like Jim, like you had mentioned, there are just so many different kinds of materials here from the Buncee team and also from educators all over the world. And you had showed off the different topic areas such as physical education and even math and the different grade levels as well that you can take a look at. There is also a search bar. You can actually type in SEL up here and find different social emotional learning. And this is just some of the ones that we have, but certainly there are like we mentioned earlier, it's such a broad topic. There's so many different things that you can do. And Buncee is something that you could use to really find some, if you find an idea or a template that you really like and enjoy, you can use it and adapt it to suit your own needs and what you're doing. So you can, again, search for SEL, and there are lots of things happening, of course, social story, and a lot of it does tie in with physical education, right? Especially just kind of checking in with yourself physically and evaluating how in certain cases, how your body feels, how your emotions, things like that. It does all tie in together a lot. So there's a lot here. A lot of it is also reflections, kind of taking stock of your feelings and your emotions and being encouraged to record and reflect upon that. This is one that we had. This is the newest one here. It's our number one in Ideas Lab at the moment. And Ideas Lab is great because you can kind of see a completed example of the completed template or a project. You can see what it would look like kind of if the student had finished it. So you can see here that this is a self-esteem exercise. There's a description, of course. You can go through and see what a completed Buncee might look like if you were to give it to a student to complete it. So the student has used a combination of text and stickers to illustrate some things that they like about themselves, that's kind of a very basic thing of social emotional learning, is kind of building that basic self-esteem and recognizing the importance of that as well. I think definitely that's something that you could start kind of at any age to kind of build that confidence and build that self-esteem. So you can see the student has added animations and stickers to illustrate as well. So if this is something that you like, that you want to use with your own students, you can click create this and click edit, and you're guided to a template, and templates kind of go hand in hand with Ideas Lab in a lot of ways. So you're guided to an empty template. Now, if you're the teacher, you can take this and you can use this yourself, and maybe you want to use this with your students. So you can go in and you can take a look at this and look at the directions. Maybe you want to change this, so you can edit this as much as you want. You can make this, maybe you want it to be 5 things. Maybe it's for an older students even, you could do that. Maybe you want to do 5 things. So you could do 1 thing I like about myself, and then you can keep going. Maybe you want to tell them to use video. Maybe like you can get as specific as you want, so students can add. Maybe you want to leave it open so students can use text or stickers or images or whatever. Or maybe you want to tell them, no, I want you to do video recordings. You can use the text here to explain recorded video, sharing 1 thing you like about yourself. Maybe you want them to do more, so you can come click on a page down here at the bottom. You can click duplicate the page, and you can make more options for them. So once you're ready, you can share this with your students really easily. You can click share. We briefly went over the sharing menu, but essentially you can share your Buncee with your students in a variety of ways. If you make your Buncee commentable, like Jim had mentioned, people can leave comments on your Buncee, so you can see how much traction your Buncee is getting, or even just to communicate with each other. That's a great option. You can also make your Buncee copyable, so your students, once you share this Buncee with them, they can copy it and edit it, like Jim, like you had mentioned. They can copy the Buncee, edit it, and add their own information in it, and then share it back with you. There's lots of really easy ways to share with your students. A great one is to share with your students directly by clicking from your classes. You can then select from your class, select your students, and click share. And then students and colleagues, when they log into Buncee, they will literally go to shared with me, and they will see the Buncee that you shared with them right here. They can then open it up and copy it, and then edit it themselves. So that's a great way to kind of explore and how you can use Ideas Lab to get started and to share ideas and activities to create your own and kind of make them your own, make them customizable and edit them to really work for yourself, and then to share them with your students. So I just wanted to kind of, build on that a little bit and share about that. Additionally, we did have a question about how you can integrate with Google Classroom and other apps. So Jim, actually, you had mentioned talking about app smashing and kind of combining with other apps as well. So I did want to point out, we actually have an entire category of app smash on Ideas Lab. So if you are looking at how to integrate Buncee and how to app smash Buncee with other apps. This is a great way to get started. You can see some completed examples. Jim, I see one of your ideas here.
Well, that's mine.
And yeah, and so you can, there's a lot of different apps that you can smash with Buncee, and you can make a lot of really cool things. Definitely I would check out app smashing. And then of course, as far as sharing, you can share and integrate with other platforms. If you take a look at social, here you can share with Google Classroom or with Microsoft Teams directly, or via social media if you need to. So there, it makes it really easy to do that with the push of a button. Jim, I can turn it back over to you if you had
Yeah.
anything else that you wanted to share.
No, I'm glad you actually brought that up because I saw the question about Google Classroom. Basically, you would just, can you go back to where, Gabby, where you put share?
Yeah.
If you go to share, you go to code. If you go to the code, and for Google Classroom, if you click link, and when you go to Google Class, you can either do it through if you go to the social tab, or if you got the link, you could go to Google Classroom, create an announcement, a question, a material, anything, and you just put where it says add link and you put it in there, it pops up. That's what I was saying before, that it's like, because I had no idea what kind of internet, what kind of device my students had. So it just like made one, they could access Google Classroom, they could access that. And so that's what it was great. As well, someone was asking about the newsletter, the newsletter template.
Yes.
That was an awesome one.
Yes, I did see a question about newsletter. So definitely I'll take you back to Ideas Lab. So we do have an entire category here of school communications. So some of them are flyers and banners and things like that, but we do have newsletters here as well. So here's a weekly class newsletter, a daily agenda. We have kind of meet the teacher night presentations and things like that. This is one that was made by one of our ambassadors, and this is a student voice newsletter. I think the question we had about the newsletters was if you could do, could they be interactive? So this is definitely a way to do that. You can take a newsletter and you can have your students record their own voice onto it. So this is, the students are reading the news every day. So this is something that you could use clip and stitch, like Jim had showed. You can have the students record their own voice and share it with you. You can clip it and add it into the newsletter. So definitely this is something that you could do. And it's a way to make your newsletter fun and interactive. You can share exactly what it's happening. The students can feel like they're a part of it. So this is something that you could take a look at as well. There are newsletters that you could do specifically for your library, staff newsletters, updates and announcements. And this is just Ideas Lab. And I did want to touch a little bit on templates. So if you wanted to, you could also, you can start from Ideas Lab, which is a great place to start. You can kind of see the completed version and then kind of take a look at creating from there. But we do have in templates, when you go to make a new Buncee, you can either start from scratch or you can start from any of these templates too. So if you're looking at a newsletter, you can scroll down to our newsletter category and you can find lots of different kinds of newsletters, you know, fun ones for, you know, classrooms, for schools, whatever you want to take a look at. You can find a newsletter that you really like, and then you can take a look at it, take a look at the preview, and then you can use it. And now it's something that you can edit yourself. So definitely explore templates, explore Ideas Lab. There's so many ways that you can easily get started creating with Buncee. Yeah, Jim, did you have anything else that you wanted to share or go over?
That was pretty much, you read my mind because I wanted to talk about the newsletter, the video newsletter, and the Ideas Lab and the templates. So pretty much, you pretty much all. One thing, and I just want to emphasize is a lot of this. I love it, and I want to say thank you, Buncee, again for having me today for this. But a lot of the fun about Buncee is just exploring it on your own. I learned a lot about Buncee just by exploring it, just kind of figuring it out. That's the kind of person I am. So whether you're at that level or if you coming attending like one of these webinars, like I said, and I always say that it's really user friendly. That everything you've seen here is pretty much that there's no hidden. It's once you sign up, you get it. You could create. The cool thing about it is you could take the ones that you made, even the ones that I will send out. You could even use them, like I said, right away. So that's what really that I love about Buncee.
Yeah, absolutely. You know, and like we had said before, really the possibilities are endless. There are just so many different things. If you know, if you can think of it, you can create it, and you can really use so many of the different resources in a number of different ways. So I think we are almost at time. If anyone has any additional questions, definitely let us know in the chat or the Q&A, and we can spend some time just kind of going over those. If anyone has any other questions, I think we got to pretty much everything. Yeah.
I'll put my email and my Twitter if you want to reach out to me.
Yes. Yes, definitely.
So this way,
Awesome.
on Twitter.
And the Twitter at, yes, thank you all, at Jim in the Gym. Awesome.
Yeah.
Well,
Actually,
yeah.
I had to do PE because there actually is another person from Texas named Jim in the Gym. So
Jim in the Gym PE, Jim in the Gym PE on Twitter. Awesome. Well, yeah.
find a different person if you do the other one.
Okay, definitely Jim in the Gym PE. Yes. Well, thank you, Jim, so much. It was so awesome to have you here. Loved seeing all the different kind of examples and different ways that you can create with Buncee and that you can utilize Buncee for SEL, for physical education, and for kind of that important combination of the two. So I think it was really great to see that. I think it was helpful. Hopefully this was helpful for everyone. I think it was. I think it's really helpful to see kind of different ways and different examples that people are using Buncee for SEL. So thank you so much, Jim, for joining and for hosting this webinar. This was awesome. I learned a lot. I think it was, and I hope all of our attendees did too.
I want to say thank you for having me, and like I said, it's an honor because I enjoy using Buncee so much. So just the fact that I can help out others is more than is perfect.
Awesome. All right. Thank you all so much for joining in. And I hope you all have a great rest of your day.